So I'm really wondering why TikTok is being made into this big deal, most especially when Facebook will, even though the connections, you can't say go back to any Chinese company, it kind of really does, because it was Harvard students that created it. And Harvard is owned by China. It pretty much is. I just don't know why any of our representatives or politicians seem to think that that's a concern. Oh, maybe it's because they are from Harvard and Yale and those big universities. Harvard leads U.S. colleges that received $1 billion from China. Trade tensions between Beijing and Washington have been building for years, leading the Trump administration to label the Asian nation a threat to the world. Yet the tally of gifts and contracts from China to U.S. universities since the start of 2013 is approaching $1 billion. Yeah, so see, Facebook is more owned by the Chinese Communist Party than TikTok is. She's a Chinese-American businesswoman and computer scientist. She was the vice president of product design at Facebook and now co-founder at Sundial. She's the author of The Making of a Manager. Yes, born in Shanghai, China. You might think, so what? Well, no, see, it kind of matters because the timing with when her family moved here, you don't really get to be here, many Chinese people, unless they're special circumstances, without still reporting back to the Communist Party. But I'm just showing that there's also, who is Zuckerberg married to? And they have the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. But let's just say this is no big deal. The big deal is that Facebook was created by Harvard. And Harvard has been in bed with the Chinese Communist Party. Harvard leads U.S. colleges that received $1 billion from China. USC, Penn also land gifts or contracts since 2013. More than 100 schools were recipients despite rising tensions. But Harvard was the biggest. And then Harvard went on to create this with China. The Harvard-China Project. Yeah, and yet TikTok is the danger, huh? No, I think those politicians, given that all of them come from Yale and Harvard, well, I think they're all in with the Chinese Communist Party. So the Harvard-China Project, founded in 1993 and based in the Harvard John A. Paulson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, the Harvard-China Project on Energy, Economy, and Environment conducts rigorous peer-reviewed studies with partner institutions in China of the global challenges of climate change, air quality, energy systems, economic development, public health, and policy. It provides studies with partner institutions in China. It provides natural, applied, and social scientific evidence for the design of innovative and effective policies to confront these challenges in China and other countries. The Harvard-China Project prides itself on its interdisciplinary scope, rooted in collaborations among scholars from atmospheric sciences, climate science, energy science, electrical engineering, economics, urban studies, environmental health, and policy. It also is fully committed to an equal partnership of scholars at Harvard and its collaborating partners. And then it includes all of these researchers and institutions. And then their sponsors. This is some of their sponsors. What a surprise. Yeah, U.S. Department of Energy, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, NASA, VCon, Rasmussen, Henry Luce Foundation, Ford Motor Company Foundation, and the Volvo Research. Major funders from China have included, among others, the Energy Foundation China, the NARI Group, Power Research, Three Gorges Corporation, and the China Council for International Cooperation on Environment and Development. What a joke this is, too, because anybody that knows that China has like the worst atmosphere because they don't have to sign on to any of the the carbon stuff. But clearly they own Harvard. They've been controlling Harvard. China doesn't give over its money without getting to have control of your universities. By the way, it's too bad those higher educated people don't get it. So the Harvard China Project is the grateful recipient of a major multi-year grant from the Harvard Global Institute of the Office of the President of Harvard University on the theme of China 2030/2050, energy and environmental challenges for the future. Over the history, the project major funders in the U.S. have included, among others, besides these I mentioned, is the National Science Foundation, the U.S. Department of Energy. I went on. The only one I missed there was the National Science Foundation. So this is just a bit of a problem. So when they carry on about TikTok being the problem, I think TikTok might actually be the safe platform because, well, we know that Facebook was created by Harvard students, and you may think, well, Harvard students don't have any ties to China. Everybody that comes out of there that becomes anything has ties to China. They own the place. These are also the same places that have dark secret societies, okay? Now, we won't have a media that will ever address that because you're made to believe, oh, they're just sororities. No, they're not. They're more. They're high elite syndicates is what they are. Inside the ring, China's $360 million gift to Harvard. And it's close to $1 billion now. So Harvard has been pretty much owned by China for a while, and then you get Facebook was created while the project China-Harvard project was going on. So when I say the universities are an enemy to the Constitution of the United States, most of them are, most especially the ones that have signed on to allowing their universities to be so funded by China that China controls them, the Communist Party. So I'm really, really wondering why it is that we have no media that wants to focus on the true enemies like what Facebook truly is. They are the enemy. Their platform was created with CCP because it was created in Harvard. And then think of everything, Meta, all of these things that have come out of that. All of these things that want to control people. Zuckerberg interfering in things that he has no business interfering in, but he's that much of a POS that he doesn't care. Because do you ever see anybody that comes out of Harvard that is a caring person? I don't. I think that you go into Harvard and you lose empathy. I think they can fake it well sometimes, but they really seem to not have enough common sense. I mean, just clearly they don't. They get in bed with communist countries and then take so much money from them that then these fucking universities go on to dictate all of the policies pretty much in Washington. And because all of the bastards there in Washington on the Hill come from Yale or Harvard, well, they're all doing the bidding for the Communist Party, aren't they? Yeah, so the reason they hate TikTok is because free-loving Americans like me and millions of others that love our Constitution and want to go back to living under the Constitution and not all their bullshit and all the experts at Harvard's bullshit. Yeah, well, of course, they would stand with the communists. They're in bed with them.